I want you to know that I've been watching Gilmore Girls. I'm on the fourth season.
Oh my
I don't understand why her and Dean can't just work this shit out.
god! That's how you know you're in it. Once you get a boyfriend that you attach yourself to.
I feel like Dean was the whiniest bitch of all time. I could not stand Dean. I could not get on board with Dean.
Terrible.
He was just like the worst kind of dude that like, I called you, why didn't you answer?
Dean, why'd you do this to me? Because I didn't have to do this. But, so Dean is he is what you do when you start dating boys. He's like basic white, but he's tall, so you're like, okay, this fits the model. And then he wants someone who's like traditional, and that's all he'll ever want, because that's all he ever wants for himself, and that's what he considers success. So that's Dean. Then you get Jess, and Jess is like the stereotypical bad boy who, don't get me wrong, you have every right to be moody and have all this other stuff, but also you need to learn to communicate, and no one is responsible for reading your mind. And so he makes impulsive decisions, and then this just expects everyone to forgive him because he's white and male, and that's the history that they do. So that's Dean. You said season 4. I'm trying to figure out, are we in college yet?
Yes, she's first year Yale, haircut. It's like Christmas time. That's where I'm at right now. Like Jess just came back into town, and Roy's like, "What's up?"
Jess is just back in town. Okay. I'm trying to think here.
Like we're meeting his mom for the first time. That's where we're at.
Okay. I think all right. So I'm gonna keep something to myself.
Well, here's a few other hot takes I'll just dish out. And again, I've just been watching this in passing. This has just been like my in the background show. I feel like they're waiting too long to do the Lorelai Luke thing. Like, just do it already. Like, I get it, but come on. I don't really understand. Okay, I said this to Miriam, and she thought it wasn't called for, but I'll throw it past you and you can give me your thoughts. Rory's nice, like she's cool and all, but like within like 2 seasons or so, like fucking Chad Michael Murray, Jared Padalecki, and Milo, like all these like Abercrombie models are like, Rory, please give me a chance. And I'm like,
it has
what?
Nothing to do with Rory and everything to do with what Rory symbolizes. Rory is the unattainable, bookish, virginal girl who's going to do something with her life. And each one of those men that you've met so far needs to taint it, control it, or grab onto it for dear life so they can be pulled out as the rocket takes off. That is what that's about. None of those men care about Rory, because it's what's clear is like each of those men, like at one point in time, specifically say and or show, I don't care about you. I care about what you represent and how you make me feel.
She's great. She's just kind of a plain Jane, and I do feel like she has some codependency issues with her mom. And
you have no idea. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
They're carbon copies of each other. Like it's
well, they are, and that's the whole point of the show is generational cycles, and how you can do everything that you can to not be your parents, but in some way, like all the ways that you thought you weren't going to be your parents, going to double over, and you're going to pick up all the other traits.
Well, I will say that I did not like Lorelai's mom in the first few seasons, and I'm growing to like her more.
Emily is
Emily Gilmore, yeah.
Emily is amazing, because you do that. You go on a journey with Emily where you're like, I hate Emily, and then you're like, Emily has some points, and then you're like, you know what?
She's just
looking at it holistically. Like, well, no, it's not that she's just doing her. And like, I think you've seen this because Lorelai has already been engaged to Max and then broken that off. There's that moment where Emily was like, I don't like, I went from your father's house to the sorority house to this house. And you start to realize that a lot of these women and it's something I'm even looking at now, like with all the things with like the baby and all so many of like the older generation, they were like they put on their children things that worked in their time. So like in Emily's time, you had to get married if you were going to be a successful woman. Like she couldn't open a chicken account without a husband. So when they have kids, they're like, oh, you need a man. And those kids are like, that's not true anymore. I don't need this thing. It's a nice to have. But that doesn't make sense to someone whose whole entire life this was a need. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
again, I'm only on the 4th season. I don't want any spoilers.
No
But
spoilers for me.
I will say that I did already see the year in the life before I saw the series.
Okay. So you know about Logan.
Well, I know bits and pieces, but the main thing I kind of take away from what I know of that is that Lorelai and oh my gosh, why am I blanking on names on that? Rory hadn't talked for years, and I'm like, that doesn't seem like it's in line with
just
what this show is.
Watching. Just keep watching.
All right.
You'll see it. You'll see. And I think honestly, I think they do it all really, really well. And like, who's your favorite townie?
Oh my god. Probably Sookie right now.
Sookie's a good one. Sookie, I mean, like Melissa McCarthy is a great.
I don't know if she counts as a townie though. A lot of the town people kind of annoy me. I will say that.
Do they? I love Babette. Babette is like, but I love Babette because they use her perfectly. Like she busts through the door. She's loud. She's all like, she takes control of whatever scene she's in. And then her and Marty disappear. You never see them again until like a different episode. Miss Patty is like this very interesting character that you're like, how did we get here? What's going on?
I will say that the way they've built out the community of the show is really interesting, and unlike other WB shows of the time where like it was very much focused on just the central cast. And that's one of the things I'm noticing in this show. It's just like, wow, no, these side characters have like
they have their own arcs,
and they're part of this town in a way that feels like a novel or a stage play almost, in the way that there's like an I don't know, just they're constantly involved, and I do like that consistency of seeing these same characters pop up over and over again with their same quirks, and how, you know, Lorelai just being there like the sane one around all these crazy people, kind of winking at the camera.
But then you look at her and you realize she's not all that sane either. Like I think one of the things that I really love about Gilmore Girls is you really do start off thinking, like, you look at each character, especially like the 3 generations of Gilmore Girls, like Emily, Lorelai, and Rory. You start off and you're like, this is how I feel about them. And then halfway through, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't translating. And then by the end, you're like, okay, so all 3 of you are right, all 3 of you are wrong, and all 3 of you are the result of both your environment and like your family history. Like that's.
Well, I will say that this is probably the best writing I've seen for female characters of any WB show, period. At least of that era. I haven't been watching current like shows or anything like CW, but of the WB teen soap era, easily the best written female characters.
Absolutely. Like it's a lot of the critiques will be, you know, like they're too pop culture referential, or they eat all, like they do that thing where like they do nothing but eat and they're very skinny. Like I get it. Those are critiques that I absolutely understand.
Oh, I had that critique as well about how I was like, wait, they always eat out and they look like this? Wait, what's up?
Yeah. That's the thing that a lot of people are like, okay, so you're going to tell me that like they notably say we do nothing but we haven't had a salad in like since 1984. But just like healthy as a horse. But you know, like there are other things that I think you can focus on. And I actually think that for me anyway, when I started watching it when I was younger, it was a great example for, I saw my mom and me as like Lorelai and Emily. Like it was like that really that dynamic made sense to me. I saw myself as a Lorelai more so, even though I was like literally on Rory's like age track. And then I just think like they do really good family dynamics. Like Friday night dinners are almost always very interesting, and you're gonna get like some good material between like family dynamics at a Friday night dinner.
Well, in terms of like the show and the way it's styled and everything, I kind of like the rhythm of it. Like it feels like it has kind of like a song and dance rhythm to it in the same way that like Happy Endings does, or actually the way they talk in their speech patterns made me start watching West Wing because of that same
Oh,
kind of rhythmic dialogue that I really enjoy with Aaron Sorkin in that one. So yeah, dude, loving it so far. Loving it.
oh, the only thing I was also going to say, I had forgotten this, is that the like a lot of the references, like they just made me like be interested in that stuff. I wanted to get every reference, so like I would go and watch these movies and read these books. Like that was like to me, and I thought that was a great thing. And I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of like the purpose, is to like get you, like bring you into their world
Well, this
more
is
than
like a
anything.
post Scream, post Dawson's Creek, self-referential, is like that meta criticism, winking at the camera stuff. That stuff's pretty popular at this point, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, well, I also think like it's a show that didn't dumb things down to their audience. Like
No, yeah.
they would make references and they were like, you either get it or you don't. If you get it, this was for you. If you don't, there's another joke in like 2 seconds.
2 seconds, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway. Okay. So that was a good icebreaker. I love it.
Yeah.
Should we do the intro really quickly?
Yeah. Let's jump in.
When the spawn meets world, spawn meets world. When the spawn meets world.
What up, bruhs?
What up, bros?
Welcome to Bruh Meets World.
When it's bro meets world.
Your boy meets world fun cause. I am Siege.
And I am Tony Curtis.
And we are doing a little mini episode. It's been a while. We know this. We are halfway through season 5, I believe.
Yes.
Season 5. And we went missing. We disappeared, and we hear you where you're like, hey, where are you guys at? What's going on? So we just wanted to do this episode to kind of like loop you guys in on what's going on with us personally, and let you know that we haven't forgotten about you. We are coming back, but this is just to like catch you up, for us to even kind of get back into this rhythm. And yeah, T.
Oh yeah, and I mean, we have a bunch of episodes recorded too. So I think that this episode is going to be a great opportunity for us to kind of talk about some new things that have been happening. I just heard a fantastic interview with the actor Ethan Suplee, who plays Frankie the Enforcer. Just talking about his experience on Boy Meets World, that was just great. I would love to dip into that a little bit with you. Yeah, we just have a lot of stuff to catch up on and catch you guys up on. So I just, a little mini episode, change things up a little bit. And who knows, maybe we'll do more mini episodes if you guys like these.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about the interview. We have other things, but then also I'll save it for later. But let's start off with what you had just brought up.
Well, I was listening to a podcast that I really enjoy called Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Michael Rosenbaum is an actor who played Lex Luthor on Smallville, the TV show in the early aughts. And he has this podcast where he interviews all of these fantastic celebrities, and they're amazing interviews. And he sat down with Ethan. He's has his own podcast, and he's been going through this fantastic physical transformation over the last few years. And he was talking a little bit about his experience on Boy Meets World. And one of the things I thought was fascinating was that he wasn't a good student. He basically dropped out of school, took an acting class, said, I don't need this. I'm going to get my own audition. auditioned for Boy Meets World his first day of auditions and was on the show for 2 years. 3 years.
Wow.
It
Oh,
was his
God.
first day auditioning for anything, and he stayed on the show. I just thought that
So
was
I
so
want to
amazing.
make it very clear. I love him. I love his character. I love most of his body of work. Like he is in Butterfly Effect. He is in My Name Is Earl. Like I
Remember the
love
Titans?
it.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
stuff.
like
Wolf of
great.
Wall Street.
But also like something that we need to talk about, the whiteness and like just like the idea of like trying something on your first day, getting it, and then being like, oh yeah, this is just my life now. I'm a successful actor because I tried to do something new. Like,
Yeah, this really is a Cinderella story. Like, this isn't something for aspiring actors to hear and be like, oh, I'll get my first day in. Like that's not how it's gonna happen.
and again, like I want to make it clear, for the most part, what did I read recently? Oh, okay. Ben Stiller, son of Jerry Stiller,
Yes.
said that nepotism in Hollywood isn't a thing. It's all about merit, and it's just like I need people to acknowledge that just it's okay to have privilege. Like you have it. No one gave it to you specifically. Like you just have it, and it's okay. But like acknowledge it. Am I making sense?
Also for POCs, nepotism's kind of a requirement of moving on up. You got to bring some people along with you. Um,
I don't know if you heard this recently, but I've been on TikTok and it's not POCs anymore. It's people of the global majority.
oh, I like that. People of the global
absolutely.
majority.
Yeah, they were like, you know what? We don't like the framing of this, and we're going to make some edits, which I'm all in favor for.
That's so funny. I love that. People like so it's POGM?
Yeah,
POGMs?
POGM.
Okay, so we're
People of global
POGMs now.
majority. Yep. Or maybe we should shorten it to just like PGM.
PGM. You guys vote. You guys let us know who are listening to this how you think we should refer to ourselves as, because I do like global majority. That just feels like a power
accurate.
move.
It feels accurate.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a while. I actually think I haven't watched a single Boy Meets World episode since we last recorded. Like, because I always try to save my reactions for the show. So
and honestly, you know, a lot of times we end up recording these episodes out of order, especially when we have guests on. So yeah, we're kind of all over the place. But you know what, guys? Transparency. We want to let you guys know where we're at, so we can give you guys some honest reactions for when we jump back in, because I think we stopped right when shit was about to pop off.
yes, oh, we did. And like again, like we have some great things coming for you guys. Don't want to spoil it, but just know that we would not have stopped if it wasn't for like an important reason. I don't know T, if you like feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll jump on first and just say, like, you know, I think that there was a lot of internal excitement for when going from 2020 to 2021 of like, oh, things are getting better, but like mentally that just never clicked with me. And like, in fact, like this whole like, I don't know, this almost like a force to like return to normal actually created a lot of anxiety. It created a lot of I don't know, just pressure and stress. Not to mention, I found out I have ADHD, or ADD more specifically, around late spring, early summer. Which, Siege, you've been a great friend to me, because you were talking to me about this early on when I was first, you know, asking questions about it, and you were able to really, you know, kind of pinpoint a lot of my symptoms. And I have to say that, like, ADD something I've had my whole life, didn't realize I had my whole life. Now that I know what the symptoms are, I can look back and kind of see all the ways that it kind of affected me. But my symptoms multiplied by 1,000 during the pandemic. I every single one of them. And none more than like decision paralysis, I guess is what I've heard people call it. Just this feeling of just like, I know there's things I have to do and things I need to do, but I can't find the motivation to do anything. Not like the stuff I want to do, I can't find motivation for. And so, yeah, that was just a lot to just work through. I had trying therapy, trying medications. It's a whole thing. But I have to say, lights at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? I'm feeling good about the way I've been handling my diagnosis. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
I'm working with some great doctors, and therapy's great, and medication if you're supposed to have it, talk to your doctor. But it's been working pretty good for me. And yeah, I'm just trying to, like, again, get back into the swing of things, because I think in general there was just a lot of trauma from 2020 that I didn't really process because I was in it. Because sometimes it's hard to know what you're in when you're in it. You have to take a step back, and that's when it all kind of comes at you, which I think is what 2021, the first half of it, kind of essentially was for me. I don't know how your experience has mirrored that or not, but
I would say that it's been kind of hard because like my home life has become more complicated. Like I'm helping my boyfriend's family out, and so like there's just more home pressure. And then but like on top of all of that, I say that I have been very influenced by what's been going on in the outside world. Like I'm constantly monitoring the different things that are happening globally, the different variants that are happening with this disease. And it's been a journey, both with a mask and without a mask. It has been a journey over the last few months. Hold on.
house phones.
I
You might
know.
as well have a rotary dial. Like, Jesus.
It makes no sense. The only people who ever call us are telemarketers. It's stupid. Okay, I think we're done. Okay. Yeah, but it's been a complicated last few months. And so but I also think that like for me, it's kind of been I've kind of been like eager to get back into the show because it at least gave me like a distraction, something to do. So I'm really, really happy that we are recording this because I think it, like this is my hobby. This is like the thing that I enjoy doing, and getting to have conversations with someone other than work.
Yeah.
Like still working from home and this other stuff.
And
So yeah.
the vibes are always very light and fun and friendly, and whenever we finish recording an episode, my mood is always at a high. So
A
I'm
little bit
excited to jump
lighter.
into this.
Yeah,
Yeah. um
absolutely.
can I ask you, you know obviously it's been some time since we've been recording. Has there been any pop culture that you've ingested over this time period that you feel is worth
Are
noting?
you gonna say are there any? Like there's so many. Like I don't even know where to begin. But I will say that like so for example, one huge like I have dived into TikTok a lot.
Oh my God,
T,
you'll
you
get lost
introduced
in
it
the
to
ocean
me,
of it.
and I got to tell all of our listeners, honestly, even if you're listening to this, start hitting us up. I activated our questions and answers portion, and I'll start responding to you guys, like in between recordings, so that way you guys are still getting content. But like, I believe we're what at Bro Meets World Pod.
Yes, because
Is that
unfortunately there is someone else who
at
is
Bro Meets
at
World
Bro
Pod?
Meets
You can
World
find us.
who
Type in
has
Bro Meets World,
nothing
you'll
to
find
do
us.
with Bro Meets
But
World.
yeah, so we have that, and then I'm on myself under I Am Not Your Oreo. Took that
You're
from
doing great. You fell into this. It fits you like a glove. It's so funny because you were one of those people that when I was talking about TikTok last year, you were rolling your eyes and you'd be like, "Those for the kids, T. Like, you too old for that
yeah,
shit."
I will.
And now I see you pop up with videos all the time. It's great.
So it's funny that you say that because yeah, I think once like for so many people, especially me, like you see it, you knew what it was famous for. It's like these dances and stuff, and everyone my age was like, my knees will not let me like download TikTok. It's not for me. But then you get on it, and I think that like as millennials have gotten on it, they were like, oh, this is like a great platform for like sharing information and learning new things. Someone told me it's like a visual Wikipedia. And that's exactly what it feels like. You can like go on and learn anything that you want to learn and hear observations, have conversations. And so that I do want to caveat that app is it is working hard against Black people and Black creators. Like it's almost like it's in their algorithm.
Well, what isn't, Siege? Is anything in this world not working hard against us?
And like for those of you who are like, oh, they always bring everything back to race. First of all, I can absolutely bring everything back to race. Give me like an item and enough time, and I can give you an answer. But also, like, there is proof on the app itself that they are like, hey, if you use the words Black and people together in a sentence, we're gonna review your video a little bit closely. So it's been very interesting to like see the workaround, but like there's so much creativity and there's so much knowledge. And
one of my favorite things about it, if I just went through this real fast, is I love the discovery aspect of it, because it feels like what YouTube used to feel like before it was like bought out by corporations. Like now when you go on YouTube, you're just seeing like movie trailers and like late night like clips and things like that. When before you would find content from nobody, from someone in Nebraska's video would pop up and it would get 6 million hits and some. Like that's what TikTok is now in the terms of like, you're not following people to see their content. The content is finding you through the algorithm in a way that really lets you find some amazing niche voices, great creatives. I don't know, I'm on Black TikTok, and it feels like even though TikTok's doing its hardest to edit them out of the equation, my For You page is still getting all that great content. So it's been a great experience.
And it's great. And someone said that earlier that it's like it's like the next level of interaction, like in meme culture. Like it used to be sharing memes, but now like we are memes. Like, you know, it's like you take what was a meme and you make it your own, and you tell how it applies to you in your life and your situation. So again, I think it's really great. That's kind of like what I've been doing with my time. I'm really, really excited to like pull the pod in there, because I would love to like have these conversations, answer questions, and I feel like it really would like fill in the gaps in between when we're able to record. So I encourage everyone to, even if you think it's not for you, sign up, look for us, and let's have some conversations.
I think it's like the most popular app in the App Store. Like if you haven't tried it by this point, just trust us. Like everyone is on this for a reason, because I think this is easily my favorite algorithm of all the social media algorithms. Like I will tell you this, that in general, social media to me lately has started to feel much more like an MML. Like,
yes.
It's like, hey, these content creators are taking all of their time and energy and money to create this content so that they can get likes and followers, but the profits of that is going towards corporations. To me, it just feels like I might as well be selling Mary Kay. Like it feels very similar to me.
I was gonna say you mean MLM, but yeah.
MLM, yes, MLM. I apologize. Multi-level marketing. Like it feels like an MLM scam in a lot of ways. So, and because of that, it's like I really struggle with that aspect of it, because I see so many great creators who are just pouring so much time and energy into content, and like they're left up to Facebook or Instagram to decide whether or not they want to show your content. TikTok is a little better, I think, in that regard. So
I agree. I agree. Like I will like say a tweet, like maybe 3 or 4 people see it. I'll say something on TikTok and like it explodes, and it's the exact same thing. I haven't changed anything except I've added my voice to it, which I think makes a really big difference. So
and it really kind of showed me just how like suffocating some of these other algorithms are, like Facebook and Instagram. Like I hate going on them now, because I know I'm seeing things that I'm supposed to see versus things that I would just naturally find, and it's not fun anymore.
Someone said, and I love this, someone, like it was a TikTok, but they were like, I love when the algorithm like gets it wrong, because you're like, ha, you don't know me. It's like, because your whole job is to like pinpoint like my next move. And so when you show me something that's like way off, I'm like, yes, got him.
Sometimes
I'm
I see
checking and
stuff that's
jabbing.
way off, and I'm like, why am I on Bigfoot TikTok? Like, why do you think that that's something I need to be on? Like, I must have accidentally followed someone I shouldn't have.
I will also admit, like you're right. Like when certain things start to pop up, you're like, what did I do to make you think that this was for me?
And sometimes it hits way too hard where I'm scrolling through and I'm like, I'm confronting my relationship with my father on an elevator. It's like, guys, like,
Yeah, exactly.
maybe not make it so intense. But no, it is a great way to kind of connect with people.
Some other like content, I don't know, like I can't think of like the last time. I know I brought up WandaVision on the show previously.
Yes,
but, like a
we
lot of
haven't
the
talked
Marvel
Loki.
content. I was gonna say, well, there are a few things about Loki that like I don't want to do spoilers, so I won't go into it right now. But I was going to say that I'm enjoying the Marvel content as of late. Like I think that Marvel keeps it going. I like there are lots of people who are like, oh, Marvel fatigue. And I'm like, you can get tired of it. Like there's so much out there. What are you interested in? Like, let me know what you deem worth your time, and then that'll tell me everything that I need to know. Because like Marvel is really fun. It is like a genre unto itself, but like I watched Black Widow and I had an absolutely great time. It was one like Florence Pugh is just an amazing actress, a great comedic timing, and like it made me care about a character I didn't care about. So yeah, I'm really here for
really
Marvel lately.
love how Marvel is just doing something completely different with this post Avengers phase, like opening up the multiverse and like just really like having fun with these characters that we haven't met yet. I'm really excited to see like Eternals and 10 rings, like all these like new superheroes and see new representation on screen. So I'm just really excited for what this means for seeing X-Men and Fantastic Four and like these characters from old movies too. Like I'm
so
super
excited.
into it.
Absolutely so excited.
I want to talk to you about Netflix's Fear Street trilogy. I saw you talk about this on TikTok.
Yes.
I need to talk to you about this because I'm watching these movies. All right. So if you guys don't know, Netflix created a trilogy called Fear Street. It's based off of a novel, I believe, a novel series. And it has 3 different parts. The first part takes place in 1994. The second place takes place in like 1978, 76, something like that.
It's 1994, 1980. Is it 78 or 87? You're right. Like it's in that time.
Yeah. And then there's 1666 is the third one. Right. So the first one kind of plays on the kind of 90s slasher films that you kind of see. The second one is more of like a Friday the 13th camp situation, and the third one is very Crucible and Salem, like witches and all that stuff.
The original horror story.
Really, yeah. I mean, it just terrible stuff that happened to women back then. But what's the most fascinating thing to me about this franchise is just that the central love story is between 2 women, and I don't know that I've seen that in a horror movie before. I have to say I was uncomfortable watching children finger each other, but I mean, other than that, I couldn't recall especially a horror franchise where there wasn't this kind of male, I don't know, in horror films there's always kind of like this phallic knife thing that happens between the final girl and whoever's chasing her, and so it was just nice to know that wasn't really an element of this story for me.
Yeah, no, like, so I have like I think we are now getting to the point where we have enough representation where I feel fine criticizing it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's a great thing. And like when I got to see this horror film where the main love interest is a lesbian couple, it was like, that's amazing. That's revolutionary. I'm glad that it exists. However, and there are spoilers ahead. So if you haven't seen it, they like one of my main issues with any horror story is we are supposed to believe that one couple's love is worth the lives of so many other people. Like you can kill almost like an entire town filled of people if it means that two people got to get together at the end. And that to me is ridiculous. It's so individualistic. It's so stupid. Like, and it really, really, I need a movie to like just acknowledge it and completely turn that trope over, because it bothers me so much that you're willing to let countless people die, people who we have come to know, love, and enjoy, because, and again, most of the time it's you sacrifice all of them so your two love interests can just have a kiss at the end of the day. And they're high schoolers. This isn't long lasting.
It's not gonna last. That was the thing that was so frustrating to me about watching this as well. Spoilers. The main character essentially sacrifices her best friends for this girl that she's not even in like a close relationship with. Like they are on the rocks, and they're like sophomore year. Like this relationship is not gonna last. You know what is gonna last? That friendship that you've had since you were a little kid. But no, you let that person die to save this one person.
The fact that your friend is dead. That's forever. That's
permanent. Yeah.
I watched that and I got so, especially in the first one, but I think it's like the most egregious in the first one, because the characters who you come to know, like they do everything right, except still be friends with this person.
And it's so interesting because this horror movie sets up a plot in which all of these, like, I don't know, ghosts, whatever you want to call them, are only trying to kill like one person. One person.
Like if you let that one person go, literally everyone else who dies is just like.
How is it that 6 people die trying to save this one person from dying? That math don't make sense. This is some Saving Private Ryan shit. Like, I don't get it.
Well, not only that, but like 6 people died to save this one person. But after the 6th person, I say, you know what? We have to end it here.
Yeah. If one
like
person
how
dies,
many does it take?
Then that's too many.
It negated it. Like, yeah, like
it cancels out.
So anyway, like that's I enjoyed it. I'm someone who I don't like gore. I don't like things that like what is the word I'm looking for? Like it's not gratuitous. Well, I guess maybe it's gratuitous, but like I don't like gratuitous gore. I don't like it. In anything that I watch, I usually look away. And for a lot of this, I did look away, but it was also like a very fun romp. It knew what it was. It knew what it was trying to be.
Yeah.
It paid homage to my favorite movie all time, Scream, and it did so really well. So, and it did so in a way where it's like
the entire horror genre. Like there were so many elements of that were like all the ghosts that come up throughout the history that come back are all playing into some horror icon or theory or idea really well.
Exactly. And so if you haven't, please watch it. I think it was a lot of fun. I had a really good time, and I was so excited for you to see it because like it just felt like something that you would gravitate towards.
Oh my god, I fucking loved it. I watched every one. I actually really liked the second one. I loved the kind of Friday the 13th one. That one was really fun.
I like that one. I think it just wasn't as tight as the first one to me, but I get it.
Well, the third one's kind of, I don't know. The third one's kind of all over the place for me, but maybe that's because they jump back and forth so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely would recommend it. That was a good one. Yeah, I'm trying to think about any other content I've been taking in. Do you have any? Did you happen to see Jungle Cruise yet?
I did not. I did not see that, but I did see Snake Eyes. I did see Fast and the Furious. I did. See...
Fast and Furious. Pause. Fast 9. Can we talk about that movie for like 5 seconds?
Because absolutely here
Jesus
for it.
Christ. All right. So I love all the Fast and Furious movies, especially Fast 5 onward. I think they're absolutely ridiculous in the best ways. This movie, I think, is my least favorite of the Fast movies.
What?
And I will tell you this, it's to me like I didn't like the flashbacks of it. I didn't think that the characters who were the flashback characters looked or acted anything like
That's
the people
his
they're supposed to
son.
represent. That's not, is that Vin Diesel's son?
That's Vin Diesel's son.
Is it
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, that's his son.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right. Forgive me. I was like, I don't get it, but whatever. No, I just, you know, they fly a car in space. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, they are at a point in the franchise where they have used so many ideas that legit flying a car in space, and like not a rocket ship, a car, like pushing down on the gas to move forward in space. Like it's insanity. It's
So I will say that for me, I think like maybe 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is a cartoon. Like nothing else matters anymore. You can do anything because I'm watching a cartoon. And once you look at it with that lens, you just sit back and enjoy it because logic has left the building. Like absolutely nothing.
Logic leaves the building within the opening scene.
Physics doesn't matter. No one talks like this. Like just like I watched it being like, I can't imagine customs looking at your passport and not detaining you. Like, where have you been going?
Or the fact that Dom is constantly talking about how important family is, yet is constantly putting his son in the position of being an orphan throughout the entire movie. He doesn't think twice about driving a car off a cliff. Like, what about family, Dom? What about your kid?
There are so many times where we were like, well, who's watching the kid? Like you just...
Brian. The ghost of Paul Walker has been watching these children for 3 movies.
Again, it was pure magic. And again, I just was like, I'm gonna detach from everything and just enjoy the movie. And
how did you feel about the
we're going to space? Again, what's not to love? Like there's just so much where you're like, yeah, sure, why not? Like same thing. Like I've heard that they want to now like because it's one of Universal's most profitable IPs, and
it's
they
insane.
want to do like a crossover between that and Jurassic Park. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for it. Why not? You can do anything. Go back in time. Let's like start having some evil twins. I'm here for it. What are we doing? If not
this franchise started with Vin Diesel stealing TV DVD combos. These people are now in space working with top secret organizations. I don't even know who like Kurt Russell and like Charlize Theron and Helen Mirren. I don't know how they got all these people into this franchise. It's incredible though. You're right. Like they have 2 more movies coming out and I'm here for both of them.
And again, like for me, I think what's fun is at this point in time, I'm like, oh, these are soap operas. Like I don't have to know anything. I don't have to like fact check that we are going so crazy.
They actually purposefully gloss over science all the time. They don't want you thinking about it. They're like, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
exactly. They're like, oh, I knew someone in a previous life. Like that's what they'll say all the time. Like, how did you fund all this? Like you guys are in a different country every movie. How do you have hookups everywhere?
And then they'll just come out with like a bunch of box tops from cereals and cereal boxes. And again, it's like, it doesn't like, why do you care? Do you want to see some cars go really fast? Because that's what we promised you.
I want to see a Fast and Furious Transformers crossover. That's the one I want to see. These people are driving cars. Let's make the cars have brains and let's really do something fun with it.
Just honestly gave them like, because like also let's remember, it's not just like Dom and his characters. It's the world. Like we have Hobbs and Shaw. We're going to get spinoffs. We're going like, you think they just brought his son in for nothing? No, we're going to get prequels. We're going to get prequels.
fast the early years. 100%.
Exactly. And again, I personally am here for it because it's always a
I've
good time.
I've heard rumors of a prequel television series. I don't know how you feel
There
about
is
that.
already a television series. I don't know if you know that.
Oh wow.
Like there's already a television series. It's animated, and again, like it's one of the most profitable IPs. And what's crazy about it is it's like such a simple idea, but like I want to give Vin Diesel his props for I want to give Vin Diesel his props for taking a nothing concept and being like, I'm gonna make so much money out of this.
Okay, so if you could think of the Fast and Furious Universal property crossover, which are you throwing into the hat for consideration?
I want a Freaky Friday. Like I want
Oh.
like a Freaky Friday, but like my dad the car. Like I want Vin Diesel's soul to be switched with his car, and then we get like a Knight Rider.
like a Herbie the Love Bug, but it's Vin Diesel.
Exactly. Like that's what I want. That's what I
Oh my
what I
god! Like
dream of.
honestly, at this point, like if they could even Space Jam it and just literally show up in a Shrek movie, and I would okay, we're here now. It's
Why not?
all okay. Like
It's
there's
all
no
okay.
rules.
You did remind me of something else I wanted to bring up, which is I think they're calling it the Renaissance or like this
Yeah,
comeback
I
of Brendan
tagged you in
Fraser.
this on Twitter, and yeah, apparently Brendan Fraser is having a resurgence, and I know that would be a big deal to you because you have a huge crush on Brendan Fraser. I have my own
How
feelings
could you
about
not?
Brendan Fraser.
How could you not? Like, I want to hear everything that you have to say because here's the reason. One is Brendan Fraser is like he deserves so much. We owe him such an apology. He gave us the 90s. He didn't ask for
Gave us
much.
the 90s.
I said he was the Chris Evans of the 90s. He gave us Encino Man.
If you're talking
George of
Chris
the Jungle.
Evans early aughts, yes. Chris
Yeah.
Evans now, no way. Brendan
Well,
Fraser
no. Well,
is nowhere near Chris Evans.
well, wait. If you look at it, the trajectory, Captain America, the first one, and
George of the
the
Jungle.
Mummy. Yeah, no, the Mummy. They both headed up franchises that made them like comedic, fun white dudes who we love to watch. And I think that had Brendan Fraser, like, had it not been under Universal, and so like had like people who knew what they were doing, and had Brendan Fraser been given like the same kind of writers and treatment, we would still see Brendan Fraser the same way we did then. Like,
Okay.
because you're gonna argue to me that Chris Evans was some kind of theatrical actor who
No,
like,
he
on
actually
the
was
same
in a
level.
string of bad movies all until he did Captain America. Like Captain America really turned his whole career around. And I think
Exactly.
you're right that like if the right role had found Brendan Fraser, maybe that wouldn't have been the case. But I mean, you are ignoring some major missteps. Dudley
I'm
Do
not
Right.
ignoring anything. I am acknowledging it all, and I'm just saying that I'm not saying that he is Meryl Streep by any means. I'm saying that this was a man who committed to every role that he got. He absolutely did his best to entertain. Like Bedazzled is a awesome, terrible movie. Like it is a terrible movie, but Brendan Fraser
You
is
know what? I
giving
haven't seen
you
Bedazzled in a very long time.
110%. He is giving you 110%.
Okay, so what's your favorite Brendan Fraser movie?
It would have to be so it's really hard because I'm going to say Mummy, the first one, because he like everything comes together perfectly there. But then Bedazzled is like my favorite rewatch because it's so stupid and silly, but it's still fun. And then I just love the concept. Like Elizabeth Hurley as the devil, brilliant.
I said, I have my issues with Brendan Fraser. There were some movie choices, George of the Jungle, Dudley Do Right, Looney Tunes Back in Action, that I didn't really care for. But I will say I'm a very big fan of Blast from the Past. I love the concept of that movie. I think it's super adorable. I also think Christopher Walken, fantastic in that movie.
Have you seen Encino Man?
I haven't seen Encino Man since I was a child.
You should watch it. Again, not great. It has Pauly Shore in it. Like, what do you want from me? But like, it's a fun movie, and it's a fun movie that like knows what it is as like a late 80s, early 90s movie. And I just think that that's like, especially like living in California now, I think Encino Man is a really fun romp. And then I don't care what anyone says. You look at him in George of the Jungle and tell me that you wouldn't hit it. Like, honestly, like George of the Jungle, Brendan Fraser is just like, mwah. It's
I will give you
everything.
this in that, like, other than I wouldn't say like Brad Pitt, I don't remember there being a ton of dudes in the 90s that were like physically in shape the way that he got for that role. Like, honestly, like I was watching, I don't know, I think it was like a Die Hard movie the other day, or one of these old action movies where I was like, oh, these guys aren't in any kind of shape. Like, I was watching what was it, the Harrison Ford Blade Runner. I was watching Blade Runner the other day for the first time, and this is Harrison Ford in his prime, right? And I'm like, this dude is in no shape whatsoever. He didn't prepare at all for this role. And so to think about all the ways that actors prepare for movies now, Brendan Fraser does come to mind as one of those first dudes that was just like, all right, let me just get like super fit for this role.
And
I mean, outside of
at, like,
Arnold
what
and
he's
Stallone, other than those dudes.
Yeah. If you look at what he like, if you look at the roles that he chose, honestly, Brendan Fraser is, to me, like I said, he's like Chris Evans, he's Chris Pratt. Like it's a shame that his name's Brendan, because he's just like all the other Chris's, to the point where what he did was he looked for things that would make people laugh. Like, he wasn't trying to be, well, as far as I know, Brad Pitt and like indie movie and an action. Like, he wasn't trying to do all of that. He was always trying to do lighthearted.
Well, he wasn't Crash,
things.
I think.
Was he in Crash?
I think so.
Like, he could have been. Like, I think I'm not saying
I think he's done more dramatic works now. I think in the 90s especially, he was doing way more lighter stuff, but I think now he does more dramatic.
But also, like, I think that that's what was out there. Like,
yeah,
like when you look at like the movies that was going on, it's like he wasn't a Tarantino type.
Honestly, when I think of Brendan Fraser, when I think of the 90s Brendan Fraser, it feels like offshoots of Pauly Shore. And I think that's the taste I have in my mouth. It's just like that TBS Saturday morning movie that they just played all the time, that I'm just like,
but like, all right, so Adam Sandler and Ben Stiller and like all these other people could just do nonsense, and like they were crass. Like, a lot of their movies don't hold up, but like Brendan Fraser was just like lighthearted, and he was like a really good guy. And then again, Hollywood treated him terribly as someone who was like, also, we have to even talk about it. His stint on Scrubs is one of the most emotional episodes you will ever watch.
Siege, you should be his publicist. I swear. you have said nothing but glowing reviews about Brendan Fraser. And again, I'm like, I know there's some good movies. Maybe I just have to revisit them. I need to take your advice and just like go back, watch Bedazzled.
What I'm saying is, they're not a lot of good movies. They're fun movies. Like, they're movies that, honestly, like, all things considered, and like knowing the things that were like really popular in the past, it's just like, this is nothing but racism or ableism or whatever. And like, Brendan Fraser is usually, his characters are just trying to have fun. Sometimes they're racist, but for the most part, they are on the right side of history. That's all I want to say. If you
want a great documentary, I'm not even going to call it a documentary, but if you want to watch a great movie about white privilege, I would suggest you watching his movie Airheads that he was in with Steve Buscemi and Adam Sandler. 3 guys from the rock band take over a rock radio station with guns, and they just get massive fans from it. They just get more famous from it. It's wild,
that
bro.
Sounds like America, I'm not gonna lie. Just sounds American-ish.
They like force the DJs to play their music. It's really crazy. I was recommend that.
How about and I think we should like wrap this is kind of going on, but Olympics, any Olympic commentary? Because...
Okay, so I haven't really been watching the Olympics because I don't have cable, because I'm a millennial. I will say that I think keeping up with like the drama stuff that's been going on, specifically surrounding
Yeah.
Black athletes,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that to me, it just from an opposite. Again, I'm not physically watching all of this stuff. I'm watching recaps. I'm reading about it. Um, it feels like we never get a fair shot.
No, why
Just
wouldn't we?
basically, yeah. It just feels like even now, with all of this post Black Lives Matter stuff that we had last year, that like even now there's just not a more welcoming space for us. And I guess that's a little disappointing that like the whole world was marching for us last summer, but this summer
Yeah.
they're so quick, especially the Black women, to
That was
just
last
strike back.
year. It's a new time.
It's a new time.
Let it go. We've moved on. Like it's ridiculous. Like honestly, as you said, especially with Black women, the number of things that came out in this Olympics that were like, hey, you can't do this as a Black woman, you can't do that. Like I just like we're gonna go on a little rant here. Ride with me. The idea that oh God, I'm going to I don't have it in front of me. Shakari, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right.
The
So
runner, right?
those of you who know what I'm talking about, the runner, she got eliminated for pod or whatever. My mind was like the number of things that we go and say, I'm not going to ruin this white boy's future over one mistake. That would be ludicrous. Like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So he held up a grocery store and killed 9 people. He was 16, you guys. Give him a break. Like it's just so common. And like what's even crazier is I don't know if you follow this. It's not in America, so I will admit, like, well, actually, it's the American team, but the American fencing team, they have a guy who was accused of sexual assault. And their solution, instead of removing him and saying, hey, you can't go, their solution for him was we'll just keep him separate from the women. Like possibly known predator, he can still go, but like yeah, we'll just make sure that he's segregated from the women. And by the way, what that means is like we'll make sure that the women have less access to things so he can still be president in the things that men are allowed to have access to. And that's one of the things that like just always bothers me. It's really like the hypocrisy bothers me more than anything because I don't expect more from you. I've lived in America for a while now. I'm aware that you could say one thing yesterday and then today it's a completely different ballgame because you realize it doesn't make you money, but the hypocrisy is what will always probably drive me crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, because even the way Michael Phelps, that whole situation when he was caught with weed was handled completely differently. Do you remember in 2016 Ryan Lochte?
Oh, dude, like it was the first thing that I said. The very first thing that I said.
That like it's really stunning. And even when you think about some of the criticism against like Simone Biles or you know, like the pressure that these people are under, it just feels like we really need to take a look at the whole structure of an Olympics, because when I think of especially like gymnastics, like aren't there like pervy vibes to it? Like doesn't it feel like a bunch of like small girls who are in like really like training like adults for something their entire lives? It feels like they're being worked like horses before they even mature. Like it all just feels kind of gross and ill, and but I want to support it. And I'm like, go USA at the same time. Like they worked all their lives for this, but they're like all their lives are 16 years old. Like I don't know. Like I hope that there's a future for these Olympians, especially the younger ones, outside of just this Olympics or the next Olympics.
A few comments. One, check out the documentary featuring Naomi Osaka on Netflix.
I can't wait to watch it. Yeah,
it's very eye-opening. It's very sad in some ways, and it just kind of gives a peek into why she made the decision that she made. And then second, can you imagine telling 6-time, now 7-time Olympic medal winner Simone Biles that she needs to prove anything to anybody. How many gold medals do you have? How many Olympic moves do you have named after you? Like, it's
Yeah.
just this idea that what I really enjoy is this upcoming generation seems to be like, yeah, there's no one who seems to be looking out for me and my well-being, so I'm going to. And if that means that you don't get to make money today, then that means you don't get to make money today. I don't have to go to this thing, and I won't. Like, what's crazy, I forgot, I think it was Naomi Osaka, but there was something where she was an athlete was like, I'm not going if I have to do press. And they were like, well, then you can't go. And she was like, fine, I won't go. And they were so hot. Not only will I not go to this, I won't participate in any of it. And they were like, you can't do that. Yeah, no, actually, I can, because I did. And then also, like, why would I? First of all, I've already made a name for myself. The reason why you want me there is because I have a reputation. Number one, right off the bat. Number two is you need me, I don't need you. And that bothers you more than anything, the fact that I don't need you. But even if I did, the fact that I'm taking care of me more than I'm worried about you will drive them crazy. And I love that.
For Simone Biles, haven't they just put a bunch of roadblocks in her way anyway, like saying that she can't do moves because other people can't do them, and like judging her differently than other? It's like, is she so much better than everyone that they have to judge her differently? Is such a ridiculous. So you will only say that about a Black person. You would never say that about Michael Phelps. You never hear them saying Michael Phelps needs to be judged on a different criteria than everyone else.
Well, they actually did. Like, it's so funny, because another thing that brings up, it's like the testosterone thing, and like what qualifies as a woman, and like all this other stuff. And it's just like, if that's something that naturally occurs in their body, why are you regulating it? Because Michael Phelps, he's like, you brag, he has a higher lung capacity than most other human beings. His wingspan is different than most other humen beings. Like, that's just called a natural advantage. Like, you didn't do anything. You were born in this way.
I think he's double jointed too.
Yeah. So why, like, but when it comes to Black women specifically, all of a sudden we have to put in these things. We have to make it fair. It has to be measured out specifically. And so there's all of that. And then we're kind of going to bring it a whole full circle here. You reminded me of the boycott from TikTok, Black creators on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because have you heard about this?
Yeah, of course.
Like when Thought Shit came out by Megan Thee Stallion, great song, love it, watch the video. They were like, no, we're not going to do it. Why? Because why are we going to make why are we going to create content that you will then take away from us and then promote someone else's version of it? And again, I just love the fact that this new generation is like, no, if we're going to play by your rules, then I am going to look out for numero uno, and that is me. And if I'm looking out for myself, then I'm not doing anything that makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm prioritizing my mental health. I'm prioritizing things that mean something to me. And if that means that you get nothing out of it, well, then so be it.
I love it, dude. I love it. Honestly, I mean, this is a completely different thing, but I just wanted to say that my fiance is actually leaving her job at the end of this month simply because she just needed a break.
I love it.
She's just like, mental health. She was like, my mental health is the most important thing. I don't feel like I've been able to concentrate on it. I just need a break. So I'm just going to take a break and figure it out. And I'm like, 100% do you, but like, we have to do this sometimes. I
had someone at my job, like a C-level, say that she was like, I'm just like, I'm getting married at the end of the month. I'm rethinking some things. Yeah. And I was like, I think a lot of, kind of like bringing it full circle again, a lot of people post-pandemic are like just reevaluating stuff, and they're like, I don't have to do this. Like, if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to. Like, we make the most money in the country and we're still not rewarded. So clearly working hard isn't the end goal. Like, there's a global pandemic going everywhere. So clearly health isn't something that you guys prioritize. So I think I'm going to just like reevaluate what's important to me and my family and my life, and see how I want the next few years to go, and act on that, because I don't know what y'all doing.
Yeah. And what the pandemic has taught me more than anything is just that, like, hey, the US is not the only like business in town. Like, there is a whole world, and like the internet has shown me just how great some other countries are. Like, can you imagine? Do you know that in some countries people don't have to pay to go to the doctor? This is crazy. like, why are we here? Like,
I was speaking to my therapist about this. So funny you said that, because I was speaking to my therapist about this, and I was like talking about different places, and he's like, well, where do you want to go? And I was just like, or why do you want to go? And I was expressing some of the things, and he was like, people are racist everywhere. I was like, yeah, but they're racist with healthcare. Like, I get that other countries have racism, but they also have universal basic income, or they also have like, again, healthcare. Like, I can go see a doctor when I want to, a livable wage. Like, all of those things are more important to me. I deal with
the
racism
amount
all the
of
time.
times within the last year that I've like researched living in other countries has quadrupled. Like, I don't know how serious I actually am about it, but I'm like looking at the brochures. I'm like, oh wow, these are some great things. And also, like, hey, some of these countries don't seem like they're gonna flood or go underwater in the next 50 years. Like, maybe I should consider like that when I consider my future as well. Like, there's a lot to consider. It's for as far as like the way our country, certain states of our country have handled the pandemic or handling global warming, where I'm just like,
I'm like, get me while I'm here, because the moment I can get out, get out. I want out. I
didn't ask to be here.
Bruh meets world. like get me
bringing
out.
it full circle.
Absolutely.
Anything else on that you want to share? Any Boy Meets World things, or just life things that you want to throw
Honestly,
out before we...
I'm really excited to get back into it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode and listened to the end. If you want to, please follow us on Boy Meets World at TikTok, Instagram. We're not like as active on anything, but like hopefully we can get back into it. Follow me on TikTok at I am not your Oreo. T, what are you doing? Where are you at right now?
I'm around. I'm participating. I'm ingesting content. I have to say that from a mental health perspective, it's been really hard for me to find creativity amongst all of this. I am so green with jealous of the people who were like, oh, I have a year off. I'm going to spend that being as creative as possible. I'm going to come up with all this content, because to me, like, every time I try to create anything, like, it just like falls apart before it even starts. And so like, I'm really hoping that, just the podcast and some other things will inch me closer to being more active on social media. So yeah, if anything, I'll just kind of lurk the Bro Meets World accounts and answer comments and things like that.
Absolutely. And please hit us up. Like, tell us how you guys have been. We have like a lot of really faithful listeners. We have people who I know, if you have some upcoming questions that you want in episodes that we haven't released yet, please ask them now, and we will get to them when we record those episodes. But ultimately, it's nice to be back for the time being. So yeah.
And I just kind of want to throw this out there. I think the last episode that we went out with was the Topanga Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So our next few episodes are Raging Corey, the Eskimo, and the episode after that, which is Heartbreak Corey, which is the ski episode. So again, guys, some great things coming up.
I'm really excited. All right. Remember to dream,
to try,
and do good. Do what you can, honestly.
Do as good as you can. You get an A for effort.
Later, bros.
Later, bruh.
When this boy meets world.